Hey guys, so what we're working on today is making a door that opens with a key that we've made in Maya. So to start this off though, I've actually decided to do a little bit of stuff over here that I don't do a lot of normally or show in my videos normally. R is the shortcut for scaling this, and W makes it so we can move. So Control C and Control V, just like lots of other things, lets you copy and paste as well. And just copying in these. So now they're all going to be on the same plane. Pressing E for rotate, just like on Maya. I think that tutorial should have come out before this one, so you guys should know what I'm talking about. And that'll work. Cool. So you can see there, got a door frame set up for me to then put my door into. But now we need to move through, and there's a few different things that we need to do. So starting off, I need to open up my code here from last time. So like usual, I've done a practice before I've started making this one. But yeah, so first things first, what we're going to do is actually need to make our door. So if I right click and we go blueprint class and we're making an actor, I'm going to name this door. As we know, I like to keep things super simple, especially with naming. If we have to refer to it again, it's important. We're going to start with a static mesh. And then for this static mesh, we can actually look up from our starter content, which you should. I've opened this up with our starter content door. If I look up door, we've got SM door, and we can see just there it is ready to go. So that's something that we could create on Maya as well. You can see how it's some rectangles that are different colors, and then I don't know how in depth the door handle is. Yeah, reasonably. So that would probably be the hardest part, would actually be making the door handle. I'm actually clicking and dragging. Oh, I didn't mean to click and drag that. So clicking and dragging lets you zoom in and out slowly. If you try to press W, you can see that it does it can get away from you a little bit. So if you want to do any fine stuff, clicking, dragging, and that helps you move in at little increments. Okay, so now we've done that, we need another component, and that is a box collision. So now I've added that in there. We want this to be the place where if we're standing on it, we are going to be able to open the door. So I'm trying to make this quite large, so that way it's not something that's super easy to miss. So there we go, we've got that there. So now if I right click on this, we need to add some code in. So we're adding on overlap and we're adding end overlap. So we're working with the box here. First thing we're going to do is actually find our third person character. So if we go here and we put in cast the third person character, and we need two of these, Control CV it, and that way we've got two. And we're also going to be getting player controller and putting that in here. So hook these ones up there. And then what we want to be doing is enabling input when we're in it. So when we've overlapped it, and when we're ending the overlap, we're disabling input. So we need to enable input, and then we're going to disable input. We've got our 2 bits there as well. Hooking those up just like that. And for this as well, player controller needs to be attached to say what we're not giving the input to. Alright, cool. So we need to add another thing as well, and I actually forgot to add this. Let me quickly compile. Oh, it's not like that, but anyway, that doesn't matter. I've actually forgot to add something. We need to add to our third person character. So open this up, and we're literally adding one thing to this, and we need to check when this character has key. So when they've got their key, so if I press compile as well, we're going to have key set as off, so save that. So now we've got that there, and like I have in a previous video, I'm going to try to keep up here, so we probably should have done that first. I'm going to try to keep up here where we're at in regards to what we're actually altering. So now what we can actually do as well is we need something to press to pick up the key and to open the door. And for that we're going to have I'm going to say interact. We'll do interact. So if I go here to project settings, so edit project settings, and then go down to input, And then in here, we need to go to action mappings. So we've got jump, we've got reset VR. If we need to add another one, and this one's going to be called interact. And then to do this, we open up that and we go to keyboard. And I think we've done this previously in other videos. And I'm going to set that as E. Now we don't need to save or anything. This automatically does that. So now if we right click here and we go interact, we've got our event that we can add in there. So, and just to get rid of these because they're annoying me, so you can see our code easier there. So if it's pressed, and we're going to press B, we need a branch. So if this is pressed, we need to check the condition of them having the key first. So has key, get rid of that, get has key. So we can double check this, and we can check if the third person character is the one that has the key. So that's a nice neat bit of code we've got just there. So let's add in the different openings and closings of this door. So if we go to true, drag that off and we go gate. I'm going to add in a gate. So we've got open, close. So obviously we're enabling input, we're going to open it because we've had that met. False is going to play the sound that we've also got as well, but I haven't shown you yet. So but disabled, we're going to have closed. So that's saying if we've got our input disabled, it's going to stay closed the door. So now what we can actually do as well, if I go to false, well, we might actually do that straight away, and we're going to go play sound at location. And what we're going to be getting for this is get actor location. So that means it's going to play at our actor's location. And now I want to add in here. So if I minimize out of this, I'm going to show you what we've had in here before. So we've got this sound just here, which is the door is locked. So if I rename that, there we go, lock sound, and that's our pickup key sound. So just naming them again, nice simple names. So for that false one though as well, we want to make sure we've got that down as the sound for that. So we've got from false, so they don't have the key, and so we need our locked sound. So that means it's going to play that sound when it's not working. So now, just like we've done as well, we've done previously for our moving platform, we're going to do a timeline first. We're actually going to do a flip flop here. So we've got our A and B things here, and then we're going to add our timeline in after that. Set timeline, add timeline, there we go. And we're going to call this open slash close door. So now we've got that there. We're flip-flopping between two things, and that's the two different states of opening and closing the door. So what we're actually going to do, so A is play, B is reserve. So it's opening and then it's closing. So now if I open this up, double clicking on it, and we're going to add our float track. We want the length of this track to be 2 seconds. That's probably, not 20, 2 seconds, and that's probably about a normal speed for opening a door. And we can add two different keys here, so time 0, value 0, enter, and then our second one is just opening it. So if we add our key, time is going to be 2 seconds, value is going to be 1, press enter, and we can see there, pretty straightforward opening of that. So now we've done that, we can compile, save, and go back to an event graph that still doesn't like us very much. Alright, cool. So let's go back here. I'm being silly. The only reason it doesn't like us is because I haven't selected the actor as the object. So compile, save. And now, so we've got our code set in there. We need to add a lerp in. let float, first one that came up, which is good. So this is going to tell us the different states that we want our door in. So we've already said on there we want it moving open or moving from one point to another point over 2 seconds. So what we can actually do for this, if we go back to our viewport and have a look at our door. So you can see here with the Z axis that it's 0. So we can actually add a variable here, and we're going to add a closed angle. And we're going to make that a float. Compile that, and when you've compiled it, it'll give you your default value, and the default value for that is 0. So we've got our close, which is, like we said before, if we look at this, it's 0 degrees on our z-axis. So then the next thing we can do is add another variable, and it's going to be open angle. And now that we've done that, if we compile, and we can go, let's have a check first. So moving this, whoops. See how we're rotating around. Okay, and about 100 is straight. I'm going to quickly put that back to 0 so we're not messing around with it too much. If I go to open angle now, and I put in 100, compile, save, and that should be opening it up. It's whether I'm making a little bit of a mistake now. It could be negative 100, but we can. That's super easy enough of changing that when we test it out when we start playing a game. So now if I go back to our event graph, we can put in our closed angle. Oh, and I've made a mistake. Let's press Alt and delete those, because alpha is going to be our track. And let's bring that down a little bit. Closed angle is going to be A, and we need open angle as well. So you can see from that lerp on our new track that we've just made. So I didn't actually name that track anything. Yeah, so you see new track _0. So that's why it says new track 0. And from that, on that track, and from point A, it's going to be closed. Point B, it's going to be open. And we're saying it's going to, at point A, it's 0 degrees, open 100 degrees. And that's the way we're going to say that's open. And the very last thing we need to do for this is set relative rotation. Okay, and then we just split this pin here because we've already dictated the movements down here, and that's for our z-axis like we were just messing around with previously in our viewport. What have I done? We need our static mesh, so I haven't actually given it a target yet, so if I put that in there, and we've got our static mesh. Compile, save. Now we can actually test this out, so if I minimize this and we drag in our door, where's our door? There. And this is also going to take a little bit of playing around with to get your door in the right position. But just like we were doing before with the WER, getting in the right spot. And R, let's scale it up. Let's have a big door. Cool. Whoa, what did I do there? What am I doing? That's something selected. Let's Control Z. Alright, so I'm not too sure what I pressed on there, but playing the game and then getting out of it again, sorted that out. I'm going to look into that though, because that was really interesting. Opening the door up again though. Let's move it with W, get in the center. Cool. Alright, so now we've done that, we've got our door reasonably the right size. We can then actually move these parts to make it fit a little bit better. Okay. So now for this, what we're going to do is pressing our R, because it doesn't matter if we go into those top sections or underneath, because you're not going to see them anyway. So now, save that. Now when we play this, right, it should come up here and it should not let us in. So it's playing the sound that we want and telling us that we don't have the key. So now the final bit we need to do is program in this key. So we've got our key that I created in Maya. So now we can go through and do that. And actually lots of the code, now it's getting a little bit repetitive here, that lots of the code can actually be copied over. So if I go blueprint class, we can make another actor. And we're doing this actually the same process again. So I'm going to call this key, open this up, and just like we did last time, we need a static mesh. And for this static mesh, we're going to have a key from our tutorial. Let's make it a bit bigger. So I need to zoom in too far. Make it a bit bigger. We're also though going to need a box collision to make sure that we can pick this up. So we're going to do the same overlapping sequence we did previously. Compile, save. So now if we go to our event graph, let's get rid of these because we don't need them. There's a few things that we're going to need for this, and we're going to need, if I copy up to here, that will be fine. Control C, open our key, right click. Oh, not really. You need a right click because I was trying to drag over, but that's fine. And then we just need to delete a couple of things. So this is actually quite a bit easier than when we're doing that one because we're not actually setting anything. We don't need this branch. We're going straight to our gate. So when pressed there, and then after we've done that, we're setting has key. So set has key. You're going to need to turn off content sensitive for that. Clicking that there. And then our target is our third person character. And that's on the begin overlap side. Remember that because we only want them to have beginning that. After they've pressed the E button to interact with it and pick it up, we are then going to play our sound. Play sound at location again. And this is the other one that I've set up. So the pick up key. And then we also need to move through to get actor location here because we're doing it at the, well, obviously at the actor's location. Where are we? There we go. Went a bit quiet there because I could not figure out why that wasn't coming up. So we've got that set up there. We don't need this sound anymore. We need that other one, which I probably could have just dragged that over there. And so then what we're going to be doing over here afterwards, we don't want the key to be sitting there. We've picked the key up, so we need to destroy actor. Destroy actor just there, and target is self. So this way we're going to be picking the key up, it's going to be playing the sound, and we're going to be destroying that actor then. So now if I drag this key in over here, let's press W, let's move it up a little bit and move it across. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It's a pretty tiny key, so I might actually just scale that up a little bit so you can see it easier. It is, as you might be able to tell, a hovering key. But we've got it hovering over our box there. So now we should be able to test this out. Save current, press play. Whoa, walking the wrong way. Walk over to our key. Place the sound for us. Come over to our door. And the door opens for us as well. And you can see there, so just showing you as well. So if I go back to our door and I go to our open angle and we put in -100, compile, save, minimize that. So if you weren't happy with that, pick our key up, the door opening inwards, outwards, sorry, and you want to open inwards, there we go, and we've got that. And we can also, staying in the right area, press E again, and it closes our door because we have our key. So I hope this helped. It's a good way for me, I think, going a little bit back to basics in terms of putting some things in this, using some stuff that we've made outside of it effectively as well. So hope you guys have learned a lot, and I'll see you for the next video where what are we doing? We might do an endless runner video or something else, but hopefully you guys have learned a lot. See you next time.